Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another wonderful session with Ascent Realty, where we talk about property issues and allied matters. I remain your humble host, Benson Okesiwosu, Esquire. So today's topic is actually a very easy one. I mean, it's something that we have all thought about at some point. So just for the sake of putting it out there, just for the sake of specifics, that was what birthed or gave birth to this particular session. And the topic is the key features to consider before engaging a real estate agent. What the topic simply revolves around is what are those characteristics, what are those features, what are those qualities that a real estate agent should possess, which should entice you to engage such a person. I mean, everyone at some point has claimed to be a real estate agent. I mean, all it takes for you to be a real estate agent is to refer a brief from point A to point B, even if you're not connecting the actual buyer to the actual seller or connecting the landlord to the tenant. But so far as you made some form of connection, that alone qualifies you to be a real estate agent. So for the purpose of this session, real estate agent here we are referring to both a company and a natural person. So where need be, I would make references to specific features that relate to a company or specific features that relate to a private person. But for the purpose of this session, let us take the definition of a real estate agent to not just be a single individual, but to also be a company as well, or a business name, or as they are registered. So the first feature that should be considered or looked, I mean, for you to even look out for these features, that means you did one thing. You are conducting your research. You are making inquiries rather. You are asking questions. You are looking out for a person who would be able to connect you either to a landlord or to a seller or vice versa. So the first thing, now in no particular order, one of the things that should be looked out for is that a real estate agent must come highly recommended. Now, my people have this adage, but I'm not going to say the Igbo version. I will say the English one. The interpretation is a good market sells itself. No need for necessary advertisements or things like that. Now, I'm not saying that advertisements are not necessary, but you get the idea. So any real estate agent that you want to engage should be one that is well known. That's the idea here. It should be a company, it should be a person that if you mention to the nearest person, at least in the same line of business, that it can be recognized, or it can be recognized in case of a company, and it is someone, or he is someone that is well known in the business of property transactions at any point. That's very important. Now, the second thing that must be looked out for is that a real estate agent should understand the current market. A real estate agent should be one who is aware of the developments that are taking place in the property sector. A real estate agent should be one that is aware to a large extent, to a substantial extent, on developments in terms of where new estates are being raised or erected, where new sites that were found that people don't really know about yet, and things like that. Even a real estate agent should also, as part of knowing the current market, should also abreast him or herself or itself on the existing laws or policies. Because I mean, let's take Abuja for instance now that Wike is the Minister of the FCT and has marked out some places for demolition, a proper real estate agent would definitely or should definitely not be advertising such a location for either rent or for buying or selling. Because what is the essence, or what is the wisdom in buying a property that has already been mapped out for demolition and government acquisition or whatever it may be? So a real estate agent who is unaware of the happenings in the property sphere of his or her locality is definitely a terrible one. So you need one who is able to, who abreasts him or herself with the current events, current developments and activities in line or in relating to the real estate sector of his jurisdiction. Now, like the next point, a realtor should be fully aware of his location. I mean, you cannot claim to be a real estate agent in Lagos and they are calling certain locations and you are in awe or keeping your face in, or your demeanor shows that you do not know where they are talking about. You don't know the location. Now, the exception to this is if you are an agent, or if that agent is one that is limited or that limits him or herself to a particular location. I mean, we have agents whose jurisdiction is just the mainland. They don't disturb themselves on properties on the island, and there are also agents who operate that way. We also have agents who claim to be all-rounders, both mainland, island. I mean, I'm using Lagos as an instance because it's somewhere that I can comfortably say that every Nigerian knows about. So that's the idea. Every real estate agent should be one who is fully aware of his locations. Now, the next point is this. You need, or rather, a real estate agent should be one who has great people skills, a nice personality, and positively resourceful. Now, people skills, obviously, because as a real estate agent, such a person would be dealing with people on a regular basis. I mean, at some point, so this is where people management comes into place. If the real estate agent is one who cannot maintain a conversation, whether the transaction pulls through or not, because some real estate agents have the habit of, the moment one transaction fails, they set aside the client and move. Meanwhile, that shouldn't be the case, because if transaction A does not pull through, what are the chances that transaction B will? Because you never can tell how it may be. Things like that happen. I'm a witness to that. So a real estate agent should be one who possesses proper people skills. Now, I'm not saying he should be one that's trying to patronize everyone, but in terms of language, in terms of how the person manages clients and all that, all these things should matter. Your personality obviously should be one that one should want to communicate with, and positively resourceful. Now, why did I say positively resourceful? The point being made here is this. So there's this adage in law that what makes a good lawyer is not knowing all the law, but knowing where to find the law. So what makes a good real estate agent? Not necessarily having all properties, but knowing where to source them, or where to source these properties. So now, in line with the word positively resourceful, that means that the real estate agent should be one that, even if he, she, or it does not have the property required at that point in time, it should be something that he can easily get from his contact list. Another feature that should not be taken for granted is in terms of reputation. There's a saying that the reputation of a man speaks volume. Just like the same adage of a good market sells itself. It's in line with this as well. So, and also this, so reputation here goes both ways, good and bad. Now, if you are known to be a notorious agent, you are known to be rude, you are known to be contentious, you are known to be filled with conflicts, the handwriting is clear on the wall that getting patronage would be something that would be near impossible for you. Because what are the chances of you getting clients if all people hear about you are terrible, terrible things. You sell non-existent properties, you inflate property prices, and the list goes on and on. So on the other hand as well, if you are the type of agent who has the reputation of successful property dealings, the chances of patronage also would definitely be high, and these are the type of people you need to communicate with. Now, if the real estate agent is a company, like I mentioned, that for the purpose of this session, real estate agents will be divided, I mean not divided per se, but will be taken to be the personal individual and a company. So where the agent is a company, please conduct your search at CAC on the CAC portal to ensure that the name is registered. And it doesn't just end there. Also ensure that the annual returns of that company is up to date. I mean, we are all aware of the CAC, of the Corporate Affairs Commission's policy on how names of companies who haven't filed annual returns for the past 10 years or so would be removed from the businesses, rather, would be removed from the register of business names. And for those of you who don't know, is that policy still stands. It's just a matter of time. So for the sake of being safe, ensure that 1, the name is a registered name, and 2, the annual returns is up to date. How do you check the annual returns? When you search their name at the CAC portal, I think once you scroll down, you should see, if you see active, it means that they have filed annual returns up to date. If you see inactive, that means the opposite. So that matters. Another feature that must be present in any real estate agent is that a real estate agent must be a skilled communicator. Like I mentioned, your choice of words in interacting, in communicating matters. And it doesn't, there's this habit that people do where they tend to be nice and calm to people who they perceive to have financial prowess, and operate the other way around for people who they think do not have sufficient resources. Now, mind you that nowadays nobody wears his finances on the face. Even in the past, nobody ever did that. So your ability to communicate with your clients, your ability to take down the instructions of your clients, the ability to ensure that you put into life, into reality, into actualization, the instructions of your clients, all revolves around proper communication. So if you're unable to canvas properly, if you're unable to listen to the requirements being set out by the client, by a person as a real estate agent, the transaction is definitely doomed to fail. Now, another point here is that a real estate agent should be one with proper marketing strategy. Now, one mistake that many agents make, especially those who operate on their own, the manner, I get property briefs, yeah? So the manner in which the, what I call it, broadcast message is being packaged is such a shabby manner that it seems like it was just copied and pasted. Use poor English, improperly constructed, information incomplete, and things like that. So by the time you ask further questions, you see them especially telling you, oh, okay, let me come back and go and check. I mean, that shows that that brief is not even, the person is unaware of the details of the brief, and that's something that we also need to look out for. Every real estate agent should have complete information on any brief she is pushing. The moment there is a break in communication in terms of getting information, obviously that shows that that real estate agent is not fully equipped with the resources, in this case being information, needed to see to the fulfillment of any property transaction. So that matters. So as I was saying, the manner in which the messages are couched is in such a shabby manner and doesn't look appealing in any way to read. And I don't know why some of these private real estate agents think that it's not necessary to do private or personal flyers to send this thing out. Presentation matters. Like I've said, it takes just passing information from point A to point B to be a real estate agent. So you have to show there has to be something different, distinct in your mode of operation to stand out as a real estate agent. And your marketing strategy truly matters. If you are one to just send out broadcasts without properly constructing them and without having the complete information in that broadcast, the tendency of that brief being attended to is close to zero. And what are the proper information? Location, the size, asking price, negotiable price, the title document that covers it, the state where it is in, and any other thing that seems important. But these things I mentioned must be there. So anytime I see any broadcast, any brief description with at least two or more of these items I just mentioned missing, I don't take it seriously, because this is evidence that the real estate agent is unaware of the brief he's sending to me. So I will not engage such a person on a brief that he or she is not equipped with the complete information regarding it. So marketing strategy really matters. Another thing that really matters for a real estate agent is in terms of negotiation, especially in terms of prices. What people don't really understand is that negotiation seeks one thing: mutual compromise. It's only when you go into mediation, arbitration, or whatever, that's when there's always a win-lose situation. But in negotiation, the idea is mutual compromise. So it's not a matter of one person gaining, the other person losing. And the truth of the matter is that the moment you are canvassing and there seems to be no common ground between both parties and the issues that matter, either in terms of the size of the property, the location, or the price, then there's no need moving further in the transaction. So a real estate agent should be one who has the ability to negotiate properly and see that all parties involved get some, at least substantial satisfaction at the same time. And the last point I'm going to make here is that a real estate agent should be one who has legal affiliations. Now, what do I mean by this? We all know the essence of due diligence, proper and documentation in real estate transactions. So it is a good pointer for a real estate agent to have either a legal team or a legal practitioner from whom legal advice can always be obtained, and obviously with whom legal services can be rendered for the proper remunerations. So if all these features, or a good number of them, are present in any real estate agent that you are involved with, then you are good to go. Now the question now will be, how would you be able to determine all this at first instance? The truth of the matter is that you may only know, especially in terms of the negotiation part and skilled communication, those features can only be can only be seen when communication commences. But at the same time, at least for the sake of beginning, things like reputation should matter, things like being equipped with the proper information should matter, things like knowing the location in which the real estate agent operates in should matter. So if these preliminary features are present, you can always move further to check out if other features like the negotiation, the marketing strategy make sense, and if it's something you're comfortable with, you proceed and see to the satisfaction of any property transaction you're involved in. So that will be it for the day. Thank you so much. I remain your humble host, Benson Okezewosu, Esquire. Don't forget to like, comment, and feel free to interact and engage.